My dear friends, today I'd like to give a warm welcome to attorney Meena. Welcome to Indian Horizon again.
Thank you, Harry.
Tell us a little bit about what you do.
I'm an attorney in town. I do business law, civil litigation, real estate, probate, guardianship, and estate planning. And today I have the privilege of having Kashmir Abhausar along with us.
Thank you. As she said, my name is Kashmira Bavsar. My friends and clients call me Cash. My office is here in Orlando, and I do immigration and real estate.
Kash is also an attorney here, which we didn't ask, but she has been in the community for a long time. How many years now?
30 plus years.
Wow. Anyway, welcome to Indian Horizon,
Thank
both of
you.
you. And let's see today what we are bringing some of our viewers here. In today's economy, we are facing a lot of turmoil in the real estate industry. And in this country, real estate and auto industry are two important industry that kept this economy going. Let's say I'm going to use the term as me or I in landlord or tenant in one point. Let's say me as a landlord own a home, investment property, and you are renting this house. I might be facing a foreclosure or not making payments. You as a tenant don't know. What are the rights of a tenant? And what are the rights as a landlord in this time?
As a landlord, you are required to give peaceful possession to the tenant uh, with all the code restrictions in place, utility, electric, clean habitat. But if you are in a foreclosure, then uh, if it's an investment property, when you sign a mortgage, you also sign a document which says assignment of rents. And therefore, the minute you stop making payments, the bank can go to the tenant and ask them to pay the rent directly to them once your
Tenant
mortgage
moving.
mortgage is in foreclosure. So the tenant has to, as a tenant, the tenant has to make the payment directly to the bank. If the tenant doesn't do that, they are in violation.
Okay. Um, so what happens now if the house is not in a foreclosure but the landlord hasn't made a payment for a while? If that tenant wants to buy the house, can that process work?
It all depends on, I think it's a normal sale. Anything, if there's a mortgage on the property, then anything that you want to do, whether you're selling the property or the tenant wants to purchase the property, it's going to have to go through the bank. And so in that situation, you're going to look to see if that tenant wants to do a short sale, meaning they're going to be purchasing the property for less than what it's worth. Or are they just going to assume the mortgage? I mean, there's a lot of different scenarios, but the best thing to do is probably contact the landlord first to see what kind of arrangement you can make, what kind of contract you can sign, and if they're not being responsive, then I think you have to wait until it's in foreclosure and then maybe try to work something out with the mortgage company.
But if landlord wants to sell the house outright to tenant, nothing prohibits him. But at the time of closing, landlord will have to pay the full mortgage to the bank for him to give free and clear title to the tenant.
Okay. What if the bank decides on a short sale? Is there something can work before that worked out?
Yes, you can always work with banks, but you
Okay.
should have a letter from the bank that they are willing to do the short sale, and it should be pre-approved. Otherwise, the tenant is just running around, and sometimes it takes 4 months, 5 months.
Okay.
6 months. And the bottom line is, as the tenant or any purchaser of property, you want to make sure that there's clear title. And so you want to make sure that the mortgage company is going to give that to you when you get the property.
One topic, one interesting topic that I haven't heard somebody touch base on. Let's say Harry does not have a green card, undocumented, as a tenant. What are his or her rights in a situation like this?
Believe it or not, right now, the same.
Okay.
There's really, there's nothing prohibiting an unlawful person to file suit, pursue any action that somebody who is legal to do. Um, um, so the only categories that are protected are race, religion. What am I missing? Race, religion, just the fundamental
For discriminatory
for
purpose.
discriminatory purposes. Yes.
Now,
You must be thinking regarding when an employer hires illegal alien, the responsibility is on the employer to make
Yeah.
sure that they are hiring legal people to work in the work field.
it will be something similar to that, but at the same time, we heard some time back, whether it passed or not, if a landlord rents a house to an undocumented resident, they will be fined. Is this true or not as an immigration attorney?
Right now, that is not true.
Okay.
There is legislation that they're trying to pass. Bill McCollum before I don't even know, he's left, right? I know we're recording, but Bill McCollum is
It's going.
the Attorney General is
General,
not,
he'll
right?
be going December 31st.
Okay, so before his term had ended, he was trying to pursue a law similar to the Arizona law to come to Florida. We have heard that the new Attorney General is going to try to propose something similar, and then there are also congressmen and senators on a state level who are trying to pass something similar as well. If that passes, then there could be more responsibility on homeowners. Obviously, it is on employers, the policemen. I mean, it ranges from everything. You know, your day to day life. Right now, that biggest responsibility seems to be on employers, making sure that someone is legal. But when it comes to everything else, whether it's opening up a bank account, purchasing a car, that responsibility doesn't seem to be falling on those individuals. And I know from the various organizations that I belong to, the employers are not happy because they feel like the employers are the only ones being having that responsibility.
We'll be right back after this. Well, as we have touched base on that topic strongly, now let's say if I want to evict the tenants from the home, they're not making payments. What are the rights or what are the rules of eviction?
For evicting a tenant, first you have to give them a 3-day eviction notice, unless it's stated differently in your written lease. If there's written lease doesn't say anything based on the law, the 3-day notice is very, very critical because it can make or break the landlord's rights. When the landlord thinks, oh, I just have to go and give a notice to the tenant saying that pay me the rent, the late charges, the utility bills, if that's also has to be paid, and they give it to the tenant and say, okay, you have 3 days to pay or you'll be evicted. When the landlord does that, after 3 days, like one of my clients said, okay, can I now go and change the locks? No, I said, if you go and change the locks as a landlord, you are evicting your tenant illegally and you'll be in trouble. You'll be paying for all the damages,
Court costs, attorney fees.
everything. So the 3-day notice is very crucial in the eviction process.
And the law is clear as to what it needs to say, what it should include, how you give it, how many days you have in terms of counting the 3 days. You can't count holidays, you can't count weekends. And you can go subsequently in the court process, pay all the fees, do all of that. And if you haven't done the 3 day notice properly, it's all gone. It's
The-
all
The
wasted.
complaint will be thrown out, and here you have paid filing fees for the court costs, and
And longer time that the tenant is staying in the property for free.
Can the landlord put a lien on a tenant's vehicle or their assets as they're not paying rent?
that depends on what was written in the lease. If you want to put lien on any property, first you have to go to the court to collect the judgment. Once you have obtained a judgment against a person, then that judgment is recorded in the county where the person lives, and that places a lien on that person's property.
My dear friends, as today it's been one of the most important things within landlord-tenant, a lot of homes are being empty, and there are some rumors that tenants are asking for lower rent because, or not even paying the rent because knowing if the landlord is making the payments or not. So today we have touched some wonderful programs, and we'll bring you a lot more. We'll be right back after this.
She need a guardianship, doesn't she? She said because she wants to withdraw money from his IRA. He's the only person who was a working member. She had 3-month-old baby, and she said he's been paraplegic for 1 month now. I don't have money to buy formula for my
What
child.
do you mean the money sitting in the bank?
And she said at least I can withdraw from his IRA. And I said, do you have power of attorney? She said no. So I said, oh, okay.
In the time of sickness and health, we don't think about the other party in our lives, family, friends, and assets. What are some of the most important things? Should we be unable to do our undertakings for the other parties to help out?
I would strongly recommend to protect your family. Everyone above the age of 18 should draw up a durable power of attorney. It's a very, very important document, and everyone must have that document in their possession. Now, don't go around getting a document from office supply stores because it's worth the piece of paper it's written on. You should have an attorney draft the durable power of attorney to protect yourself.
What's the difference between a will and a durable power of attorney? There are different type of power of attorney. What the difference of a will and a durable?
Well, I think it's completely two different things. A durable power of attorney is just a document that you're utilizing while you're living. It could be used for someone to
Act on your behalf.
act on your behalf when you cannot. Whether that is you're out of the country and you need someone to sign documents to purchase property, or you're sick and you need someone to have access to money, or something like that. A will is a document that that takes care of your business after you've passed on.
Okay, so that's very, very important because God knows what can happen within a wink. Take for instance, if you're out of the country, there's an accident, your money is all locked up in an American bank or American whatever investment. That's where the durable power of attorney comes in act. Now remember, this is not double power of attorney, it's durable power of attorney, and your life can depend on it and the rest of the family. Also, it's so important to have a will, right? Why is it so important to have a will? At what age?
Well, at any age after 18, you have to have a will, because if you don't have a will, the property will be devised to the family as per the state rules in which you have your property. if you have an aunt, old aunt, grandparent, or somebody of whom you are taking care of, they will not be taken care of after your death. But if you have a will, you can make provision for your family members, your friends, of whom you have been taking care of. Otherwise, without the will, the state decides, and it's already in statute, how your property will be devised. So you want the state to decide who should get your money, or you want to decide how your money should be spent.
My dear friends, in this little bit that we have educate you in today's program, make sure that some of us in our homes, we don't discuss very much, husband and wife, mothers and father, our children, what are the rights should something happen. There are attorneys who can draw those papers very well for you. Insurance agents, they have some part of it, but today we have learned something that I myself did not know, the durable power of attorney. So make sure that you protect your family assets and your time, because time is a lot of money in the long run when we need it. So get in touch with your attorney and make that power of attorney if you do not have one. We'll be right back after this.
Harry, also, I would like to advise the viewers that it's very easy to walk to some office supplies stores and buy pre-printed wills. They are really not serving the real purpose for which you want to do the will, because will just doesn't only devise the property to whom you want to give, but also you can create trust in the will. If you have small children, you can appoint guardians for the person of the children, because you know who will be taking good care of your kids. So you appoint guardians. You also can appoint trustee. Your mother may be a good person to take care of your kids, but she may not be the right person to invest the money you're leaving behind for those kids. Maybe some financial person, some distant uncle or cousin, they might be the right people to take care of the property for those kids. So you can also appoint guardian of the property in the trust. So, or if you want to leave the money to charity, your neighbor, you can also create a trust for your pets. If you have a pre-printed documents, they don't cover everything. So yes, it costs money to go to attorney, but then your rights are protected and your wishes are carried out properly by going to attorneys. So
And you should also keep in mind that lots of time.
She got to open back the.
I was just going to mention one of the other reasons why you shouldn't do the pre-printed documents is you don't know whether what state, whether you're following the state's rules. That document, wills, whether earlier we were talking about landlord tenant, all of those things, you can't just go and buy a pre-printed lease or a pre-printed will, because the state makes the laws, and what is the law in Florida may not be the same in a different state, and so you're really doing a disservice to yourself by creating that document where you think it's protecting you, but it may not.
We mentioned durable power of attorney. What's the difference between durable power of attorney and a regular power of attorney? Like, let's say we print one out from mortgage software or any other software out there, or I just typed up something.
Some of the power of attorneys, they give power to attorney in fact for a particular purpose.
Okay.
So you have to distinguish, is it for a particular purpose, for some short duration while you are out of country, you are sick or going for a surgery. Durable power of attorney gives power. It's a very wide power. It's basically you are allowing the other person to do anything and everything what you could do. Also, after signing a durable power of attorney, if I were to become incapacitated, m- I develop dementia, Alzheimer, or I'm hit by a car and I'm in a paraplegic condition, that durable power of attorney does not fail because of my incapacity. It is good until I die or till I have revoked that power.
Okay, my friends, it makes a big difference there. And today I've learned something that I didn't know before. So I hope you have learned something and take action to make something happen quick of getting that power of attorney, whether for your wife, your children, your mother, or your father, so somebody can make a difference in your life. Open it up. Attorney Cash, as an immigration attorney, I know all immigration attorney and all non-profit organization as Indian Horizon. We have made a lot of phone calls to the senators, and we have tried hard get other people to make phone calls about the Freedom Act,
The Dream Act.
Dream Act.
Don't ask me what it's.
As we were discussing the part of so many organizations working hard to try to get the Dream Act passed, how does that affect people without a green card? No, I gotta rephrase that. Attorney Cash, as an immigration attorney, and we know for the last few years, we have had so many problems with people having their green card and citizenship. What happens to the person in today's, I'm hearing a lot of where immigration are telling people they have to go back to their homeland before they can get granted their green card. What are your thoughts on that?
I actually see this as a huge problem. I have a lot of clients who come to my office who have followed what they think is the law. Immigration sends them a letter, tells them, pay these fees. Their family members filed for them, and it usually ends up being a family member. But immigration will send them a letter, pay these fees, give us these original documents. They'll do this whole process, and then they'll schedule them for an immigration interview in their home country. So they think, we've been here illegally for so long. Finally, I'm going to get my green card. They go abroad to their interview, only to learn that they have triggered some other sets of laws that are commonly referred to as the 3 and 10 year bars. Congress in 1997 passed these rules where if you have been illegal in the United States for more than 6 months, but up to a year, and you leave the country, then they will not let you come back in for 3 years. If you are illegal for more than a year and you leave the country, they won't let you come back in for 10 years. Therefore, the 3 and 10 year bars. The interesting thing is that law doesn't even come into place if you have not left the U.S. And so what's happening is people are leaving the country for their immigration process and triggering those 3 and 10 year bars. So the important thing to learn here is make sure that you know what's happening, and whether it's simply a consultation with an immigration attorney or hiring them to do everything. But the key thing is you don't want to jeopardize your family and be separated from the family for up to possibly 3 and 10 years for a simple mistake where you could have done the paperwork in the United States. It was simply they just didn't know.
Recently, I've got some phone calls of where people were in the same situation. They didn't know what to do, as the attorney was representing them all the way, but when time to go in, they did not take the attorney with them, and then they were scheduled for eviction.
Eviction,
yeah,
deportation.
deportation.
Mm-hmm.
That they did not grant their paperwork, and they were going to leave. Now, it's a lucky thing that they called me from a similar topic that we had on television, and I advised them to seek another immigration attorney as they were not, the other attorney did not go to them in court. But how important it is for an attorney to accompany their client to this meeting.
Obviously, I think it's very important because of um, all the problems that could possibly come up. I attend hearings with clients all the time where we go to the interview and it's very simple. There wasn't a lot of questions. It's pretty straightforward, and the clients are like, "That's it? This is all that happened?" And they've been worried for no reason. But with the volume of clients that we have that we see day in and day out, we also see the flip side where we do go to an interview. We're in there for an hour, not a year, for an hour. They're asking for all sorts of documents, questions about an ex-spouse, questions about how they entered the country. It could be a citizenship interview, and they ask them all these questions about the past that they just weren't prepared for. So, when you see both sides of it, we always say prepare for the worst, and you're gonna hopefully come out successful. But be prepared, because that is your one chance to resolve all issues. And by having an expert there with you, they're going to know what to anticipate and prepare you.
Let's say somebody can't speak proper English and their exams or the interview is in English. How do you address that for an interview?
If you're there for a non-immigrant visa at the various embassies around the world, if you're attending an interview for your green card, then you're permitted to have translators there. You could bring a family member, bring somebody that's legal. Don't bring somebody that's illegal to the interview, because we have heard situations like that. But you can have a translator there. But if you're going for your citizenship interview, then most times you can't have a translator there, because one of the fundamental requirements to become a citizen is that you speak English, write English, read English. There are some exceptions based on how long you've had your green card, how old you are, whether there is some kind of disability that's going on. But other than that, you do have to speak English, and so you're not going to be able to bring in a translator and know your attorney can't translate for you.
Okay, my dear friends, should you have any questions about immigration matters, you can call Attorney Cash at
407-425-1202.
And also Attorney Mina for this durable power of attorney. Where can they reach you at?
They can reach me at 407-599-7199. And just for your information, we are not the only attorneys. There are other attorneys in town, so you should go around, check the attorneys you feel comfortable with. You should deal with them.
My dear friends, I think we have covered quite a bit for you today, and we look forward to see you. Look forward to bring you a lot more from these two attorneys, and they get a lot more to meet with you out there too. My friends, we have Rashab here from the Students Association of UCF, and they're having a dance fusion. This is the second year, and you have heard me talk about it on last week's TV program. And before, I was there last year. It's a wonderful program, and I think each and every one of you should be there. Rashab, welcome to Indian Horizon. Tell us what this dance fusion is all about.
As many of you might not know, Dance Fusion is a competition, intercollegiate competition where teams across the nation come to compete for cash prizes, where it incorporates classical Indian dancing with Bollywood, Bhangra, and Western dancing as well.
How many groups are we getting on this year program?
This year we had a record high 28 teams apply. Out of those 28, we have 10 of the best teams from the nation competing at our event.
And what do you expect from Dance Fusion as a second year? What are you looking for?
We're just looking to get the support from our community to raise South Asian cultural awareness throughout our community, and just to bring everyone together for a nice family event.
Uh, is there a charge for this?
Yes, there is an entrance fee of $10 for general admission, 15 for lower level, and 20 for VIP, and also kids under 7 are free as well.
My dear friends, these are students from UCF and every school around in this country, in USA. So I ask you to come on out and join, support this group. I was there last year, and the program is nothing like what we are doing. This is the highest standard of the dance fusion, of where they take everything and mix it up of different groups, colors. As you know, it's always really great. So come on out to the convention center on.
February 12th, doors open at 5, show starts at 6 p.m. sharp.
You can't go wrong. The best place in town, the best performing arts theater we have at the Orange County Convention Center. I want to see you there. Come on out.